Firefighters from around Lloydminster and its surrounding communities took part in rescue simulations this weekend. For more on the exercises, here's Tate Laycraft.
The training was designed to replicate a variety of scenarios that firefighters could encounter on local highways. It comes just days after the local fire department presented its third quarter update to City Council, which revealed a 14% increase in service calls compared to last year. According to Assistant Fire Chief Bill Heesing, the training holds a particular importance in the border city.
Again, Highway 16 is a major corridor that goes through Lloydminster. Lots of heavy equipment, lots of rigs on a daily basis, 24 hours a day. It just gives us, working with our regional partners, gives us that ability to work together and hopefully mitigate a situation if that was to occur.
The training took place at the Action Towing Yard and featured 3 accident scenarios for firefighters to take part in. Bill McCombs from Transcare Rescue Limited was an instructor for the sessions. He says that the training creates a unique opportunity.
One department maybe has the equipment, but everybody else needs to be trained because you need the manpower and that to pull us off. So everybody's got to work together on it.
The course contained 20 hours of training, covering equipment and techniques that are required for rescue involving heavy vehicles, but some of the simulation's most vital learning opportunities come from initiative and instinct.
Somebody's got to take command, somebody's got to make decisions, and they have to be done in a timely manner.
For Primetime Local News, I'm Tate Laycraft.
It's time now for this week's retrospect. Here's Blake Nath.
This week in retrospect. Back in '91, the leader of the Liberal Party of Alberta hosts a meeting for the opposition.
Thank you. Hi, everybody.
Alberta's Liberal leader wants a change in today's government. At this Vermilion Chamber of Commerce luncheon, Lawrence Decore outlined problems and their solutions.
I identify 2 problems that Alberta faces. The first problem is the system itself, the parliamentary system.
Decore says politics are too partisan and elected representatives don't get to voice their constituents' views. As well, he wants opposition ideas to be heard instead of looked at as being wrong.
And everything that I read in terms of what Canadians want, it is that they want a change in the political system. They want politicians to get along and do the job, solve the problems and set new directions. Don't whine and complain with each other.
In his paper, he outlines government accountability, Alberta's deficit, and the problems facing farmers. He told the Chamber land shouldn't be continuously turned over to farmers so they can produce an unmarketable crop.
So what I'm saying is that there's simply an overproduction of grain in the world, and somehow you've got to slow that production down. Take some of that production out of use. And I say, why are we opening up new lands in Alberta for more grain production when we can't sell what we have?
And in '96, for the first time in history, winter construction does not impact local commuters.
My pa is out in Marshall freezing him on his deck. He had almost 2 tons of ice on his deck there last weekend. This town needs some people that do some different kind of things just to make winter worthwhile. You can't do nothing about the weather, so find something that makes it enjoyable. Oh, above my head anyway. It looks really nice backlit where there's floodlights underneath here. And when you turn the floodlights on, it shines through the ice and it looks really nice. More fun than shoveling snow.
And that's all for this week in retrospect.
Retrospect this week is brought to you by Webb's Ford. Worth your while to drive the extra mile. Webb's Ford in Vermilion.
The Canadian group, the Tenors, are performing in Alberta and Saskatchewan this week. Stacey Comer spoke with one of the members about the Santa's Wish tour.
I'm joined today on Primetime Local News by Clifton Murray from the Tenors. And Clifton, we have Santa's Wish Tour coming up that you guys are getting ready to embark on here. Tell me a little bit about what's planned for that.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on, Stacey. Yes, the Tenors are back on the road again after some time away, as I know all of us were. And we're really looking forward connecting with our fans all across Canada. And we're coming through Edmonton and through Saskatoon. And we just are thinking this is going to be an extra special tour, Santa's Wish Tour. It's based on one of our songs called Santa's Wish, which is on our last Christmas album. And the message in that song is Santa's wish, if he had one for Christmas, was to teach the world to sing in perfect harmony. And obviously harmony musically, but also interpersonally. And I think the world obviously could use a little more harmony these days. So that's the foundation of the tour, is to bring some healing, some hope, and some harmony to people coming out to the show. You know, we got a lot of fun surprises. It's going to be literally a musical holiday extravaganza. We got special guests. Tyler Shaw, pop sensation from Canada, is going to be joining us on this tour, and just found out today that our single with Tyler, Oh Holy Night, is the #1 added song on Hot AC and AC radio across Canada. So that collaboration has really connected with people all across this beautiful country, and we're really excited to perform it live with him on the show, as well as just a lot of Christmas classics, some new surprises. And we also have a performance with the winner of NBC's The Voice, Jake Hoot. We wrote and released his first Christmas single just this year. He performed one of our arrangements on the show with Kelly Clarkson. He won the show with it and reached out and said, boys, I want to do a song with you. So we just wrote that. It comes out, I think it's out now, and we're going to get him virtually on the screen performing with us from Nashville. So a lot of surprises, giveaways, meet and greets with the fans after if they want to do that, and taking all the precautions in the venues as well, so people feel very safe while they're having a great holiday experience. So thank you to everyone who's come out so far. And if you're still thinking about getting those tickets, it's going to be a magical night, and it's going to be something that I know you'll walk away feeling really great and warm and ready for the holidays.
Now, you did allude to this a little bit earlier. We were talking about people really needing something like this, especially with everything that's happened. How is it for you guys now being on tour with everything that's changed and all the precautions that have to be in place and the rules and such? Is it stressful for you? Or are you just really happy to be out touring and playing for people who really want to listen to your music?
There's certainly more precautions in place, and we got to do more testing, and we got to make sure everyone's following protocol in the province and in the country. But having said that, I think the joy and excitement of being on tour, about reconnecting with fans after all this time, far outweighs any extra protocol that we have to go through to make sure that we bring the music to our fans who have been asking for this experience for a long time. We've just built an incredible relationship with our fans over the years, and we read their messages on Facebook and on Instagram. We understand a lot of people are going through out there, and how important the music is to them and how meaningful it is, especially when they're cooped up and they can't be with family and friends like they usually are, that they've really turned to the music for comfort and for healing. So we take that very seriously, and we're going to fill you up with love and with music and with healing, like we said, the best way that we know how. And so really looking forward to sharing that relationship because it's healing for us as well. And yes, like you said, it can be added challenges on the road, but we've embraced them and we're prepared for them, and we're looking forward to bringing the love.
Now, you do have a lot of fans out in this area. We have, before we've actually given away some of your CDs, and we've always had a great response to contests. You did mention the VIP package, so I want to talk a little bit about that, because that is a chance then for a meet and greet. Is that correct?
That is absolutely, you're going to get the best seats in the house. You get a meet and greet with the tenors backstage after the show, following all the venue's protocols, of course. But we're definitely going to connect with you, communicate, share, listen to your stories, and we'll have a little conversation, and you get some added prizes and a gift package as well that you'll walk away with, and autographs if that's something you're interested in. So really looking forward to the show, but also to reconnecting one-on-one people that want that added experience.
Well, it was a pleasure speaking with you today. And if people are looking to get tickets for the upcoming shows in this area, whether it be Edmonton, Saskatoon, or even Calgary for that matter, what's the best way to find out what tickets are available and how they can sign up for the VIP packages?
Absolutely. Go to Ticketmaster.ca is the quickest route, and type in the tenors and then your city, and it'll take you right to the page where you can purchase, or you can just go to our website, tenorsmusic.com, or go to our socials at Tenors Music on Instagram or Facebook, and all the links will be there to direct you to tickets.
Well, thank you very much for taking the time to chat with us today, and we are looking forward to seeing your shows in this area when you come out. Good luck with everything, and thanks again for chatting with us today.
Thank you, Miss Stacy. All the best.
Now Shelby Clark will take a first look at this week's weather. Thanks so much, Jasmine. Now taking a first look at your weather forecast here to start off the week. Here in the border city, we are sitting at -1, so we are seeing a more warmer temperatures throughout the week this week, and we are sitting at -1 with a little bit more cloud coverage, but we did see a little bit sun earlier on through the day. And switching over to temperatures across the region for Alberta and Saskatchewan, on the Alberta side, most are sitting at that 0 mark there, while Bonnyville is at -1, -2 for St. Paul. Cold Lake is at -3 degrees, while Edmonton is in the plus degrees there at +2, as well as down in Provost, and Wainwright is at +1. And switching over to the Saskatchewan side here, they're seeing some slightly cooler temperatures across the board there, with Peterson at -1. Isle Cross is at -4, while the rest there is sitting at -2, and Macklin is a little bit warmer, sitting at +3. But for North Battleford overnight, they will be going down to a low of -6, so they are going to be seeing a warmer temperature for their low tonight, and they will be seeing cloudier skies, while tomorrow they will keep that up and see cloudier skies as well throughout their day tomorrow, and they will be seeing that 0 mark for their daily high. And switching over to Cold Lake overnight, they'll be going down to a low of -3, so they will be warming up quite a bit from what they were seeing last week as well. They will be seeing cloudier skies, and tomorrow they will be seeing a mix of some sun and cloud as well there, and they will be seeing -2. And out here for the border city overnight, we'll be going down to a low of -2, so we will be warming up quite a bit as well. We will be seeing slightly wind chill, making it feel like more like -5 throughout the night. We will be seeing cloudier skies, and tomorrow we will be seeing -1 with a mix of some sun and clouds. So hopefully we'll catch a little bit more sun peeking behind those clouds. But now I want to show off some of our photo submissions here that we have gotten from people submitting on. Thank you to everybody that has submitted some photos to our Facebook page. You can continue to submit your weather photos throughout the week, and I will be using them on our weather segments. But here are some beautiful photos here of that lake over there on the left side. What a beautiful landscape photo. And on the right there, it's some beautiful leaves of that path. You know, I'd want to take a nice walk down that path if I could at some point in my life. But thanks again to everyone that submitted photos. That's all I have for now. We'll have more coming up after the break. We're less than 3 months out from the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing, and a number of countries are debating boycotting the Games. Jace Mackey and Evan Kenny have more.
The 2022 Winter Olympics are set to kick off in February, but there's already some concern and controversy surrounding the Games that are going to be taking place in Beijing. So joining me to talk a little bit more about this is our sports reporter, Evan Kenny. Evan, thanks for taking some time to talk with us today.
Yeah, thank you, Jace.
So first of all, what is the situation with countries considering a boycott?
Yeah, so right now a number of countries are considering a diplomatic boycott for the Olympics coming up in February. So this would be to protest China's human rights abuses whether that be oppression of political rivals or minorities in the country. Canada's House of Commons, the former Trump administration, as well as different activists are also accusing China of genocide against Muslim Uyghurs. So, yeah, all of that is sort of forcing certain countries to debate this diplomatic boycott.
So we talk about a diplomatic boycott. Would this affect the games themselves or athletes going?
No, it would not affect athletes. So if it was a typical boycott, that would mean Canada as a whole would not participate. But because it is a diplomatic boycott, this involves a country refusing to send a political contingent or representative. Now, this was said by a U.S. Senator Mitt Romney, but I believe the statement still applies when it comes to Canadian athletes. He said prohibiting our athletes from competing in China is the easy but the wrong answer. Our athletes have trained their entire lives for this competition and have primed their abilities to peak in 2022.
So now when it comes to this boycott, who's all involved with it? Obviously, you mentioned some American senators that are discussing this, House of Commons. Who's all involved?
Yeah, currently it's things are really riding on the United States. They're expected to make an announcement later on this week. Now, Justin Trudeau said, or rather would not say whether or not Canada will boycott this Olympics, but he did say that the country's being engaged with like-minded partners on the issue. Now, others have said, it would take sort of a consensus between Europeans and North Americans to really make an impact on China. But really, bottom line here, Jace, is that it is contingent on what the U.S. does. So really only time will tell.
Yeah, we're going to have to wait and see how things go. Those Olympics are going to be kicking off at the beginning of February in Beijing. We'll be seeing athletes there, but the question still remains if we'll be seeing that diplomatic presence. Evan, thank you so much for taking some time to talk with us today.
Thank you, Jace.
Now Shelby Clark will take another look at your forecast. Thanks so much, Dazzle. Now taking another look at your weather forecast, we'll be looking at temperatures across central region of Alberta and Saskatchewan here. On the Alberta side, they're seeing some warmer temperatures today. Edson and Rocky Mount House and Red Deer both at 10 degrees, 5 in Edson, while Whitecourt and Jasper at 5 and 4 degrees sitting there, and Athabasca's at 1 and Edmonton is at 2 degrees. So they're seeing some warmer temperatures over on the Alberta side. And as we switch over to the Saskatchewan side here, they're seeing a little bit more minus temperatures, definitely cool down a bit over on the Saskatchewan side. North Battleford is at -2 as well as the Meadow Lake. Cold Lake is at -3. Prince Albert and Melfort at -5 and -6 degrees, while Saskatoon is at that plus mark as well at +1. And switching over to our northern region of the provinces, as usual, they do see some cooler temperatures, of course, over in the Saskatchewan side here. Uranium City and Stony Rapids is at -14 and -15, -12 in Wollaston Lake, while it's -13 in South End and Flin Flon, and La Ronge, Buffalo Narrows, and La Loche are at -8 and -9. And switching over to the Alberta side here, they're seeing around the same as what we are seeing on the Saskatchewan side, but most spots here are a little bit slightly warmer, -4 in Grand Prairie, while Peace River is at -3, Slave Lake is at -1, and Fort McMurray is at -5, and the rest of High Level and Fort Chipewyan are at those double-digit points at -11 and -12 degrees. And switching over to our southern region, as usual, they do see some warmer temperatures, and a little bit jealous here. They are seeing some slightly warmer temperatures compared to what we are seeing in the central region. Lethbridge and Medicine Hat are at 11 degrees, 13 in Calgary, while Coronation and Banff are a little bit cooler at +4 and +5 degrees. Switching over to this side here, they're seeing those plus temperatures as well in most spots, but compared to the Alberta side, they are slightly cooler. 3 degrees in Kindersley, Swift Current and Moose Jaw at 4. Regina is hitting that 0 mark, while Estevan is at 1 degree, and Yorkton is in the minus mark at -5. And switching over back to across the region, the temperatures overnight tonight, we will be seeing slightly cooler temperatures, but not as cool as we have been seeing for our lows last week. -7 for Meadow Lake, Paradise Hill, and Provo. So throughout the night, Isle Cross will be seeing a low of -6 as well as in Unity. Pearson and Wainwright will be seeing a low of -3, and Wainwright and Bonnyville will be seeing a low of -4 as well as Murnum will be seeing throughout the night. And most spots will be seeing cloudier skies throughout the night. And switching over to our 7-day forecast here in the border city, Tuesday we'll see -1 for our high there with a mix of some sun and cloud. We will be dropping to -13 on Wednesday, so we'll be seeing a cooler day on Wednesday there. So make sure you are dressing up on that day. And Thursday we'll be seeing -2, so we'll be warming up just a bit. Friday we'll be starting off this weekend at +5 on Friday, so a lot warmer. 0 on Saturday and +2 on Sunday, so it's going to be nice warmer temperatures for the weekend, but we will be seeing cloudier skies, and we'll be seeing on Monday on that warmer mark as well with a +1 on Monday. And now taking another look at some photo submissions that you have submitted online to our Facebook page. Thank you to everybody that was able to submit. Thanks again to all the photos. Love to see all of them. You can submit more photos throughout the week, and I will be using them on our weather forecast. And here's this beautiful one of a sunset. Thank you again to everybody that was able to submit. We love to showcase them on our show. And that's all I have for now. We'll have more coming up after the break.
I'm joined here today with author Terry Shepard, and I guess for people who may not know too much about you, I'll get you just to go into your background.
So for most of my life, I was a corporate guy, Jasmine. I worked in the corporate world in telecommunications for 40 years, and it wasn't until we came back to Florida to live closer to our grandkids that I had this kind of crisis of conscience. I didn't know what I wanted to do. And thank goodness from my shrink. She said, "You don't need to worry about making big bucks anymore. What would you love to do?" And I sat down and talked with my son-in-law, had changed his career from a lawyer to being a graphic designer. And we hammered out this notion of trying to write fiction. So my wife and I decided we'll spend a year doing that and see how it works. And that's when I invented Jessica Ramirez. Jess is my protagonist in the Chasing series, Chasing Vega, and the new one, Chasing the Captain. She's based on a real-life Latina cop in Lansing, Michigan, someone I've known for a quarter century and one of the first minorities, double minorities, in her police force. So as you can imagine, she had a lot of challenges in what is still primarily a male-dominated culture. And she would tell me about these horrible stories that had unhappy endings. And I said, why don't I write one that has a happy ending for you? And that's how Jessica Ramirez came to be.
And you released the newest novel in the Jessica Ramirez series, Chasing the Captain, not too long ago. So what can readers expect in this book?
Chasing the Captain is the sequel to Chasing Vega, but you can read it as a standalone. I give enough backstory to talk about how Jess gets where she is. And in Chasing Vega, she was chasing a serial killer who liked to dispatch her victims by drugging them and throwing them into the Colorado River off of the rim of the Grand Canyon. Well, Jess beat her, but her boss got away. And so in Chasing the Captain, she comes face to face with a former Russian KGB agent who has designs on tipping the balance of power in the world in a very, very bad way. And Jess, once again, is a fish out of water. Miles from Paloma, Illinois, her fictional hometown, she's stuck in London and then in Moscow trying to get this bad guy. And that's when all the excitement happens.
Now, the other book in the Jessica Ramirez series has been translated into different languages and brought into the audiobook form. So what does that mean to you to see that your book is able to reach a broader audience?
What I really wanted to do was make Chasing Vega and Chasing the Captain available to a Latino audience. I felt very strongly that my ensemble cast needed to be very diverse. So Jess, of course, is a Latina cop. Her sidekick, Alexandra Clark, is LGBTQ. In Vega, my medical examiner is on the autism spectrum. My FBI guys are African American. So it really is a rainbow of characters. And so what I wanted to do is make sure that it was accessible in the language. So I hired a really good translator, and I said to her, just stick with the plot points, but make the story your own. Reimagine it for a Latino culture so we can connect with that audience. And the response has been just fantastic for that. Chasing Vega is available in Spanish, and I'm expecting the translation for Chasing the Captain to come in the next 4 days. So I'm really excited to read that.
Now, you also run a podcast. So what first inspired you to start this podcast? Was it just your background in radio?
You know, it's interesting, Jasmine, because what I wanted to do was I wanted to learn from the best. So in your world, it's so cool because you get to talk to anybody that you want. So whatever your interest happens to be, if there's somebody that you want to talk to, you've got the credentials to do it. So I started working for Authors on the Air and hosting the Authors on the Air podcast, now the Authors on the Air vodcast, primarily as a way to get authors that I wanted to talk to spend time with me. And it's worked out to be a real win-win because the shows have become very popular. I get between 4,000 and 6,000 views per program now. I do them a little bit differently. I do it kind of as a more of a feature or a mini documentary than an interview. So it really is a deep dive into who the person is. I get their friends to talk. And it's fascinating for me because before and after the show, I get quality time with them. And to a person, every author that I've interviewed, and I'm coming up on 60 shows now, has become a friend. And I've learned something from each one of them. I think, Jasmine, that we were put on this earth with a purpose. And our purpose, our universal purpose, is to leave the world in a better place than we found it. And that's what I'm trying to do with my life and my work, is everybody that I connect with, I always try and find some way to add value to their lives, to alleviate a little suffering, to maybe open a door for them so that they can meet their potential in their own way. And in radio and in everything that I've done, even in the leadership role in the corporate world, I was bound and determined to help raise the bar and help people achieve their dreams. And that's my real joy. When I get an email from a young Latina who's in high school and has read Jess and wants to grow up to be like her, that makes my day. When I hear from somebody on the autism spectrum that they've never, ever considered being a doctor, let alone a medical examiner, but now they think they can, that makes my year.
And if anyone is looking to listen to the podcast or purchase any of your books, where should they go?
Everything starts at terryshepard.com. That's my central pivot for all of the things that I'm doing. There are links to everything on my Facebook and Instagram, Pinterest, TikTok. Everything is there, all the connections. Go check it out, and I'd love to make a connection with your viewers.
Joining us today for Primetime Local News is artist AV, who was hosting a live release show on Tuesday, the 23rd at 7 p.m. for her song called Anything I Know. Thank you so much for speaking with us today.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
Now, what can fans expect from this live show?
The plan, which is, and sometimes things don't go according to plan, of course, but first we're going to screen the brand new video that nobody's seen yet at all. It's not released. It won't be released till further on in the month, like the end of the month. So this is an opportunity for all the people who were participating in the video, because there are a lot of people. It's like filmed in the whole neighborhood. And also part of it was filmed during an outside concert on my front porch. So all the people that were part of it are invited to come and check it out. And then also the people and the members of the public who buy tickets for the show.
What initially made you want to host this for listeners?
Well, in part, I didn't have a budget to pay everybody, so that kind of like a thank you for just taking their time out of their day to be part of it and be positive in it and cooperative. And it's kind of like every Sunday afternoon for the whole pandemic, whenever the weather will allow for it and the restrictions will allow for it, we had concerts on my front porch, which is why it kind of ended up being a video. That was the reality of what we did. Me and some friends and singers and other musicians. Just a free concert every Sunday for the neighborhood and whoever showed up from other parts of the city. And so it's sort of just a continuity of that, really, because now, of course, it's very cold and we're not having concerts outdoors for obvious reasons, but we're gonna have an indoor one, but in the neighborhood too. The venue's right in the neighborhood, so kind of like our first indoor porch concert in a way.
Now, do you think we'd be able to get a sneak peek or a teaser about what this song is really all about?
Sure. Well, yeah. It's the first track on my new album, and I've only released, this is the third single that I've released from it. So the song is out already. It's called Anything I Know, and 2 other songs, but the rest of the album is only available through my website right now, either digitally or in physical or CD format. And the whole album I wrote living in this neighborhood where I am right now in my house. It's called Kallie in Edmonton. It's in the inner city. And especially the opioid crisis has been a really very affected this neighborhood in a very big way. It's impossible to not really notice. It's really in your face here. There's been a lot of deaths and a lot of near deaths, basically on the hour, if not more often. And homelessness and obviously addiction and mental illness kind of all is intertwined into those things. Some are symptoms, it's hard to know what's the symptom and what's the root sometimes. So yeah, that's and it's also, so that whole thing, I've lived here for almost 14 years now, and so the last few albums that I've written have been with those sort of things in mind. Like, they're really impossible to ignore when you live here. So they enter into my writing as a result, and just the sort of issues that you'd think, but including the issues of like your own self and how you fit into the mix, like myself, fitting into the mix as what is colonialism and what is privilege, and also just that you're not nearly as together. You sort of have this idea that some people are so together and other people are just totally not coping, but really that there's a spectrum and that you can be on it in different sides of it depending on the day and the week, right? So yeah, that's what the record's about. And then Anything I Know itself, the song, is I got the idea for writing it because I had this image in my mind that I saw of a couple sitting on the top of the hill of the river valley near here who were totally in love. It seemed very opposite. They weren't really in love, but they were really down and out, maybe homeless, I don't know. And just having a little picnic on the top of the hill overlooking the lights of the city where all the nightclubs are and the expensive high rises and the downtown kind of vibe. And so it just seemed like they were really content and happy despite their material situation, material wealth situation. And so the song is meant to be hopeful in that, like, the whole line of it is, you got a way of looking at me that's better than anything I know. And that gets repeated a whole bunch of times in the end.
Just for people that may be unaware, where all can they access this online? Yeah,
I made a Facebook event for it, but those can be hard to find. If people go to my own site, annvrien.com, that's ANNVRIEND.com, I put it there, my calendar. Oh, but the venue also has the tickets for sale and stuff up about it as well, it's called Collab, and you can find it online at Collab Yeg, I think it is, and they're right in the hood. And they've been really good supporters of the local inner city scene, especially. So it's a good fit.
Perfect. Well, once again, thank you so much for joining us today, AV.
Yeah, no problem. It was thanks for having me, and I hope that people as far as Lloydminster can make it out.
And I'll be ending off with taking another look at your 7-day forecast. Tuesday, we will be seeing a nice warmer day with -1 for the high. Wednesday, we will cool down quite a bit to -13, so make sure you are dressing warm on that day if you're outside. Thursday, Friday will warm up a bit to -2 on Thursday with a little bit more cloudier skies. Friday will start off this weekend a bit warmer with +5 on Friday. Hopefully it keeps like that for us to start off there with a little bit more sun there. And Saturday and Sunday, we'll see a mix of some sun and cloud on both days. That's 0 on Saturday and +2 on Sunday. We'll see a nicer weekend for this weekend coming up, and Monday will be starting off next week a little bit warmer as well at +1.
Thank you for joining us on Primetime Local News, and you can watch the second hour on CITL.